Alright, hello, and welcome back to the Crossword vlog, aka Clog, Monday edition, and of course, at this point, Tuesday edition. We're doing lots of double features recently. It's been a while since I've done a non-double feature, Monday, Tuesday. But you know the deal. We're going for good times, especially at the beginning of the week. We have a brand new week ahead of us. I just now deleted last week's, um, which was a great series of times, but we think we can do better, I guess. Looks like this is a two constructor puzzle. I tend to imagine that those are better quality, two brains working on them. But yeah, we'll see. Sometimes it just means there's a more elaborate theme. But we're gonna try our best here. Let's get started. Okay, CSI Network. Alec Baldwin. Notes, those are iPhone apps or something. Spaghetti turns sharply. Maybe veers. Okay. Groupie. Divine Comedy. Beowulf. Reno. Okay, let's do veers. It could be. I don't know why that's groupie though. I am Pay. An epic. Going, gone. Okay. Sign a check. Okay. Bullets and such ammo. Audibly allowed. Cocktail, Moscow. Mule. Malt, maybe? Loon. Oslo, yep. Conduct.
Code of conduct.
Yeah, that works.
Fan.
Could be. 90-degree. L's, I guess. Alan Alda. Partner.
Is Baba Ganoush the eggplant dish or the horror movie?
It's eggplant. You think of the Babadook.
Ah, yes.
Daps. Oars on a rowboat. Fruit Loops. Ellen.
Controversial whether or not that's true, but sure.
Goals. Eggplant dip. With the bends. Emu. Truck or gloss. Lads. Elf. Godfathers. Triathlete. Radio. What's something? We. Shed. Racers. So STP, I guess. Sham. Haiku. Again. Cage. Ryan, I think. Business. Khakis. What's cracking, I guess? Mensa. Maybe just nice. Nah. Maybe a ding. Or dint. Acai. Hewn. La-di-da. Diamonds. Perk. Paler. Miles per hour. Was a bear. Shard. Luna. Apnea. Chucklehead.
Never heard that before.
Gin and tonic. Semi.
Ben?
And knucklehead. That makes more sense, I think. Tank, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
A blip. TBS. Que sera. iPad apps. Camisole. There we go. Not a bad time at all. Let's go ahead and admire the puzzle. So you crack knuckles, crack an egg, crack a code. Okay. It is a little weird that knuckle and code are their own words that you crack, but you don't crack an eggplant, you crack an egg. But I think overall it's a fine enough theme. Just a little bit of a strange addition here. Uh, yeah, it's a Monday puzzle. What more can be said about a Monday theme? Uh, Godfathers is a bit of a strange pluralization, but not terrible. Moscow Mule, very nice. I think this upper left area is pretty rough for a Monday puzzle. You got three-letter acronym, foreign word, and then two names, which I'm not a huge fan of. Of course, yeah, there are a lot of famous Ellens out there in the world that are not Ellen DeGeneres, but um, you know,
I just feel like it's interesting that they describe her as funny, but okay.
she is a comedian by trade, but yeah, um, yeah, and then this STP Terry cross is pretty rough. Yeah, overall, I feel like there's a lot of suspect bits of fill in here.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And lacuna, I have no idea what lacuna means. And I feel like, I've been solving crosswords for quite a while. On a Monday, I feel like there should not be words that are not names that I've like never heard of. Or Vigoda? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Vigoda crossing IM pay. Okay, the more I look at this, the more I'm shocked that this had two constructors. Like the theme itself is not anything crazy. Like it's just four words that you need to put somewhere in the puzzle. Like that is not a particularly like restraining theme. So like there's a million different ways to lay out these words in the puzzle. There's no like extra constraints here. So I'm pretty confused at why the fill is so bad. Um, like iPad apps, like I mean, I sure these things are on the iPad, but they're also on an iPhone. Like calling them iPad apps specifically is just bizarre. And then like La Di Da is like fine, but it's not that interesting. Um, it's rare that my opinion of a puzzle goes down so much as the more I investigate this. But I think this STP Terry thing and like Vigoda IMPay, um, that makes this puzzle a 2 out of 10. Like I know IMPay just from a billion other crosswords, but crossing that with Vigoda is just unacceptable. So 2 out of 10, but not a bad time. Let's put that in. 000511. There is a caveat. I did get a little bit of help during this, but I hope you'll forgive that. I don't think it made more than a minute of difference. So at the end, if it's 1 hour, 1 minute, then we won't count it. But I don't think it'll come to that.
I don't think so.
I highly doubt. And then uh, per
Oh, whoa.
Yektorov. Um, and we got some circle type theme going on. Might be a little bit of a trickier theme. Let's get it started. That's an idiom, I guess. Maybe it's not. Ajax. It's mythical. Saxophone. Yuletide drink, eggnog. Maybe geisha? It looks like a Japanese word. G.I. Joe. Slang, maybe. Sergeants, because they tell people to march. Lyra. Tragic comedy. Tragic, something like that. Um, tragic. Maybe this is share. Shoe. Tight-lipped. Sight for sore eyes. Swore. Cactus. Wren, maybe that's the type of bird. Uteri. Mensa, that was in the last puzzle. Mum.
Miracle
Boars.
Grow.
Ooh, yeah, nice. EPA. Pear. That's not unexciting. Tried to make a pair. Lincoln Center Focus. Lit Crit. I guess arts. Orators, maybe. ICBM. Labors. Duckling. Maybe asks of. Euler. Prenatal. Fetal. A lie. Silt. A sea. Control. Craigslist. CBD. Row. Bjorn. Demi Moore. Luigi. Maybe Borg. Alarm. Maybe S here. Just a sec. Similar to akin. Maybe alike. Photogenic. I was gonna put mini. Aleph. Mamas, I guess. Magical realism. I don't know how to fit that. Something to do with the theme. Dip in. Enoch, I think. Odors. Narco. Bill Bar. Magic realism. Purse. UTC. Not quite right. Close, but no cigar. Okay. Fundamental, basic. Cigar, so G there.
Jerry Garcia.
Ooh, nice. Yes, no. Easel. Gato. Must I? Okay. Fundamentals. ABCs. See him up here. Boho chic. Pull. a rumor, Ari Melber, a frat, tech, detective, lure, floor. All right, now that was a good time. 5 minutes, 6 seconds. Let's go ahead and enter that in. All right, there we go. We are only 10 seconds behind our best ever. Let's go ahead and admire the puzzle. Um, and yes, I acknowledge one of my viewers is very aware of these things. I did receive a little bit of outside help. I acknowledge that. We'll factor that in at the end, but I think probably pretty soon into the week that will no longer be an issue, as we will struggle to keep up with these times, I would say. Um, yeah, so um, close but no cigar. So I understood the cigar part, that these are all cigar anagrams. Um, let's see. Uh, but a hint to the puzzle's circled letters. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. Um, I don't know. I thought there was something else going on with the close but no cigar for these two, but I don't think there is. Like tragic comic is not a portmanteau that I'm like familiar with. Um, like tragic comedy sounds normal to my ear, but I've never heard of tragic comic. And then I really thought it was magical realism, not magic realism. Um, like magic realism just doesn't strike my ear correctly at all. And I'm willing to admit that I'm not the most familiar with literate lit crit, as they say, but yeah, that sounds off to my ear. Maybe I'm crazy. Cherry Garcia is quite good, and I liked Craigslist. But already, like you see how much more dense this theme is than the previous puzzles theme, and yet the fill is a lot cleaner. Um, like there were five themers. The previous one just had four. But yeah, I think not that I think the fill here was actually all that clean, but it was a lot cleaner than the previous one. Way fewer just like random names, especially stuff crossing each other. I won't say that the fill here was um, like amazing, but Photogenic and Miracle Grow are both nice little additions in the uh, long fill category. So overall, where do I land this? Um, I think the fill outside the theme is a little boring, and some of this like must-die stuff isn't great. You know, I am a programmer by trade. I do actually kind of enjoy the UTC shout out here, but I imagine there's a lot of people that have like never seen this in their life, and not that only programmers know UTC, but I feel like it comes up more in your day-to-day job than that acronym comes up more in your day-to-day job than it might for other types of work. Um, yeah, I was struggling to arrive on an actual number. I'm going to give this one a 5.5 out of 10. It did have a lot of proper nouns. They were crossed fairly enough, but you know, still still a lot of stuff like in this area. Um, and like ling as a suffix isn't great. So yeah, 5.5 out of 10. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.